Just days after their families screamed to the hostages on loudspeakers at the Israeli-Gaza border, the Israeli army announced that 6 hostages were found in a tunnel in southern Gaza. The murdered hostages included Hirsch Goldberg Poland, a dual U.S.-Israeli citizen.
They were cruelly murdered by Hamas terrorists shortly before we reached them. They were abducted alive on the morning of October 7th by the Hamas terror organization. Their bodies were found during combat in Rafah in an underground tunnel, approximately 1 kilometer from the tunnel from which we rescued Farhan al-Qadi a few days ago.
The Israeli press says that rescue may have provoked Hamas to kill the 6 hostages, fearing the Israeli soldiers were getting closer. It was also reported that 3 of the 6 killed were set to be released on humanitarian grounds in the first stage of a ceasefire, including Goldberg Poland and 2 women. In mass demonstrations around the country, protesters say the government is sabotaging a hostage release deal in favor of maintaining a military presence along the Gaza-Egypt border. This policy decision was confirmed by government cabinet ministers a few days ago, and according to Israeli press reports, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu acknowledged that their decision likely meant the collapse of negotiations over a hostage deal. But after the killing of the 6 hostages, Netanyahu blamed Hamas for the lack of any hostage deal.
These days, while Israel is conducting intensive negotiations with the mediators in a supreme effort to reach a deal, Hamas continues to firmly refuse any proposal. Whoever murders abductees does not want a deal.
Polls show a majority of the Israeli public supports a ceasefire deal as the only way to release the hostages, even if it means that Hamas is not completely destroyed, according to Gershon Baskin, a longtime Israeli negotiator with Hamas.
The military pressure does not release hostages. 8 hostages were rescued in military operations. There are still 101 hostages in Gaza. If something is learned from what we learned last night when these hostages' bodies were found, is that military pressure will not save them. Military pressure will kill them.
Amid national mourning for the 6 young hostages, Israelis have gone into the streets in mass demonstrations against Netanyahu's military policy and are holding a 1-day general strike Monday. Linda Gradstein for VOA News, Jerusalem.